Welcome boxing fans, welcome to JP Boxing, the place where we discuss all the boxing topics, everything that's going on in the boxing world. We talk about it all the time here at JP Boxing. So if you're a boxing fan, please do like, please do subscribe, please do get involved and chat boxing with me because I love to chat boxing with other boxing fans. And as I'm sure, as a boxing fan, you all know that Naoya Inoue, the Japanese monster, was back in the ring yesterday in Japan. I'm recording this on the Wednesday, so yesterday is Tuesday the 3rd of September. And he disposed of another opponent with absolute ease. And listen, TJ Doheny, I'm not going to give you a post-fight breakdown or anything like this. TJ Doheny really shouldn't have even been in the ring with Inoue, but he didn't have many other options, so it was just a keep busy fight, and he absolutely battered him for the whole 7 rounds it lasted, and then Doheny pulled out in the 7th round with a bad back after Inoue just pummeled his body for the last few rounds. It was easy work. We expected that. This guy makes easy work of like the elite fighters. He's already 4 weight divisions above where he started at. So he's been through 5 weight divisions, winning world titles in 4 of them, being an undisputed champion in 2 of them. So yeah, the topic today that I'm here to discuss now is where does Inoue go next? Because when you're talking about fights and challenging fights for this guy, you have to be looking nowhere near Doheny down here, not like the normal world class level here, the elite of the elite, and probably, let's be honest, either looking down for the very best in weight because he's almost wiped out this whole weight division again, being undisputed, or looking up at even more weight divisions, which is crazy when he's already gone through 5, man. Obviously, as I said, he did skip 1 of the weights, but it's a total of 5 weight divisions he's gone up. Been world champion in 4 of them, and yeah, man, just smashing through everybody. So yeah, Bob Arum, his promoter, in the ring afterwards did outline a little bit of a plan for the next year or so. He is going to return in December. We'll talk about that first because that's probably not necessarily the most exciting fight that it looks like it's going to be. It's going to be Sam Goodman. What we're hearing, apparently this fight was meant to be Sam Goodman originally, but I think he had an injury, so Doheny stepped in being like the 2nd rated challenger. But yeah, Sam Goodman, he's mandatory with the WBO and IBF. He's Australian, 25 years old, unbeaten, 19-0, 8 KOs. I haven't seen a lot of him, if I'm honest, before the talks of him being involved with Inoue. I've checked him out on YouTube. He looks decent. He looks massive for a super bantamweight. I will say that. He will definitely have a size advantage over Inoue, a big size advantage, but all of the opponents do now because he's gone up so many weight divisions. He's quite limited though, he gets hit easy. I don't think Inoue would have any problems getting him out of there. It would be a fun fight, I will say that, so don't miss it. If you ever miss an Inoue fight anyway, why do you do that? The guy is one of the best, most exciting fighters to watch. Maybe the most exciting, no matter who he's in there with. But yeah, do watch it though, because it will be a fun fight for the first few rounds. I think Goodman will go at him. He seems quite cocky, he seems confident. He'll go at him, but I think Inoue will break him down and take him out, just like everybody else. But then, don't leave the video now, because this is where it gets really fucking exciting, because Bob Arum says then he's going to bring Inoue back to America. I'm sure if you're an American fight fan, you will be super excited and you will try and get tickets to that, because I know if Inoue was fighting in the UK, and that was actually rumoured recently, then I would be straight on that website as soon as those tickets go on sale to go and try and watch this guy fight live, because he is once in a generation, once in a few generations sort of talent. If you got the opportunity to watch this guy fight live, you fucking take it. Even if it was up in Scotland and I had to go on like a 6-hour train journey to go do it, I would do that. He is that type of fighter. Can you tell I'm an Inoue fan? Who isn't, eh? But anyway, I digress. He returns to America. We're looking at the March, April, May sort of time. And Bob Arum said here it's going to be whoever's best available at the weight he's at now, which is super bantamweight. I think that's got to be Akhmadaliev, a guy who actually lost to a guy Inoue's beat recently in Marlon Tapales, but it was a really close fight. I think Akhmadaliev said he had a couple issues going into that fight. He was the big favourite going into it. And I think even style-wise, even though Tapales did get the win deservedly, I think style-wise, Akhmadaliev would actually cause Inoue more problems than Tapales did. And Tapales did cause him a couple problems at times. He's a really good mover. He's slick. He's powerful. He's in and out. I think it would cause Inoue problems. And he's looked, since he looked better even since the loss now. He's obviously improved too in his last fight. I forgot the guy he fought now. But the guy was like 20-0, 28-0, it might have been, something like that. They're the two numbers that stick in my head. And Akhmadaliev looked really fucking good and really exciting against him. So that itself there is a massive fight. But I think they're talking about getting Junto Nakatani, another absolute Japanese mini monster, one of the best fighters in the world pound for pound right now too. They're talking about getting him on the undercard of that. He's the weight below Inoue at the minute at bantamweight. Now, if they are setting up that fight, man, then that is absolutely huge. In the summer of next year, they've got to do that in Japan, of course. Two Japanese superstars, the two biggest and best Japanese fighters around right now. They're so lucky. They're so close in weight. That is, I'm using his nickname here, a monster fucking fight. For the Japanese fans, of course, that could do probably like an 80,000 stadium if they got one of those over there. Maybe 100,000. They did 50,000 for Neri versus Inoue. So they could do double that for Nakatani versus Inoue. He brings the Japanese fans out. Nakatani brings the Japanese fans out. Their two fan bases coming together. It would be stop the whole country sort of fight. All the news talking about in Japan. But even in America, us UK fight fans all around the world, we would all be stopping what we're doing and making sure we're tuning in for that fight. It'd probably be on a Tuesday afternoon over here in the UK. I know I would be cancelling work that day and sitting down, cancelling all my plans for that day and watching that fucking fight, because that is one of the best fights that could be made in boxing, pound for pound. So yeah, that looks like the outline, the next 3 fights for the next year for Inoue. That right there, he's already a pound for pound contender. Many people believe he's the pound for pound king. That adds more to his legacy already. That pushes him higher up the pound for pound rankings. If you've got him third, that would surely put him like second or first on your list, depending on what Crawford and Usyk do in the meantime, though, of course. But it definitely adds to his legacy. He's already a Hall of Famer. In some people's eyes, in my eyes, he's already an all-time great, but that just adds more and more and pushes him up them all-time great rankings more and more. But then what else can he do after that? Because you would think, yeah, I said he's smashing Sam Goodman. Akhmadaliev causes him problems, but he gets the win. May stop Akhmadaliev too. Win clear on points if not. Junto Nakatani, that's the one, man. That could be the one where it's getting close to like a 50-50 or maybe a 60-40. And you could see Inoue potentially having big problems and maybe even losing that one. But I would make him the favourite. So let's say he wins all 3. What next is there for this guy to do? He would still only be 32 years old. Got another few years of probably being in his prime. Well, I've got a few that I would like to see here that I've got in my notes. Obviously, he could go up to featherweight, go through another weight division, become even more of a pound for pound great. And out there at the minute, at featherweight, you've got the likes of Nick Ball, who's world champion, Ray Vargas, the likes of those guys. Winnable fights for him, of course. Very big, though, so that's size will be a big struggle for him there. Raymond Ford, I think that's a beautiful fight. Inoue versus Raymond Ford. If Raymond Ford could pick up another world title, which I do think he will, and sticks around at featherweight, that is a beautiful boxing match there. And then super featherweight. If you look at this, man, if you are list of super featherweight world champions right now, and you might think, oh shit, that's another 2 weight divisions, he'll be too small. But Anthony Kakachi, Lamont Roach Jr., Emmanuel Navarrete, and Robson Constantine, however you say it, that's 4 guys right there that I can see Inoue beating right now. If he builds through featherweight and then goes to super feather, has a few fights building up in the meantime, they are all winnable fights for him, man. That division is wide open for him to take. Featherweight, you could say 2 more dangerous, harder fights, but still winnable ones for him. Then you're talking Manny Pacquiao, sort of all-time great level with a type of weight divisions he'd be going through. That'd be 6 weight divisions, winning a world title in, maybe becoming undisputed in another one of them as well, becoming a 3-weight undisputed champion, the first man to ever do that. He's a history fucking maker already. I have no doubt he's going to go on to make more history. There is 2 more maybe fantasy fights, people might call these, that I would love to see, man. And I just think he's that type of guy. You know how we're talking Crawford versus Canelo, and it seems crazy, but someone like Crawford could go and do it. Well, Inoue, there's a guy 2-3 weight divisions below you who you could come back down to face. Jesse, and I know it is so hard for fighters once they put on the weight to come back down, but he's the type of guy who could do it. It did fuck Roy Jones up though when he did it, but he did it in a much more extreme level. Coming down from heavyweight to light heavyweight is completely different from him going from super bantam down to like bantam or super flyer now. There's only like a few pounds. But there's a guy called Jesse Bam Rodriguez who is a power for power contender himself, who is young and making history like Inoue did in his early to mid 20s. Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Inoue is a pound for pound all-time great fight, and I would love to see that one, man. It's more realistic than my next fantasy fight because I do think Bam could go up a couple weight divisions, and I might even pick Bam to win that fight. If you watch this channel, you know I'm a massive Bam fan. Big Inoue fan, but absolutely massive Bam Rodriguez fan. And I think that's one of my dream fantasy fights right there. But it's realistic, so it might not be a fantasy. One that is probably a fantasy that people have talked about for a long time. Imagine Inoue does go up to super featherweight and we could get Tank down. Gervonta Davis, lose a few pounds, lose 5 pounds and come back to super featherweight where you fought out a few years back. Oh my God, that's fantasy fight written all over it. And it's absolutely huge. The Japanese monster versus the American superstar. They do that in Japan or America. That's big bucks for both fighters. Bums on seats, pay-per-view sales, millions and millions all around the world. It could do a big pay-per-view gate. But it is probably fantasy, man. Gervonta Davis would be too big. I don't think Gervonta Davis will ever drop in weight again. He's probably looking upwards. Inoue might even think that's a bit too far for him. But yeah, man. It's crazy. Inoue versus Tank probably is a bit extreme. But Naoya Inoue is a fighter that's doing extreme things. My screensaver has just come on here. That's probably telling me I've talked for way too fucking long. I don't know how long this video has gone on for, but it shows you the amount of options that Naoya Inoue has now, people. Let me know over to you guys now. Who do you want to see Inoue fight next? After Sam Goodman, I think he's got to just get that one done, tick it off his list, defend his mandatories. He does it by the book, Inoue. Who after that do you want to see him fight? I think it'd be Akhmadaliev and Nakatani, but I would love to see him after that go for Bam, Nick Ball, Raymond Ford, someone like that. Add even more to your legacy. But yeah, just enjoy him while he's here, people. We've probably got another 4 years or so with Inoue doing his thing at his very best. A phenomenal once-in-a-lifetime type fighter, and he just continues to eat people up like the monster he is. Thank you for watching, people. Please like, subscribe, comment, get involved. Peace out. Keep coming back to JP Boxing. Thank you.